Hi. We are talking about grieving the loss of a loved one. That's hard. That is hard. And I'm going to be discussing this from many aspects. As a nurse, as many know, I was a surgical intensive care nurse. So I'm talking about it from a nursing standpoint. I am talking about it as a mother who lost a child. I lost my daughter Claire right after she was born due to domestic violence. She was preemie and just lived a few hours. And I am speaking to this as someone who has lost their parents. And lastly, I am speaking to this not only as a grief counselor, but I am reluctant to talk about this sometimes because I get a lot of flack, but I'm all about transparency and honesty, so I'm just going to say it. I was born a psychic medium, so yeah, don't make the tacky jokes. I see dead people, but I do communicate with those who have passed. So I know of what I speak, okay? And this isn't some weird conversation. Just know I know what I'm talking about. When somebody is passing, someone we love, it is breaking our heart for so many reasons. If it's a child or a parent, we feel that we should be able to protect them and help them. It's really hard. It was horrible during COVID. I had a lot of clients, a lot of friends that were doctors that were losing parents and loved ones, and they felt helpless because here they are, a doctor, and they can't do anything because it's COVID. Maybe, they were on one coast, the parent was on another, and they couldn't go there to say goodbye. And even if they had been there, it's COVID. There's nothing you can do in the early days. We didn't have vaccines. We just had a few ventilators and a lot of prayers. It was a tough time. It's hard to let go. Unfortunately, we have to step back as the survivors, as those remaining. We have to step back and remember, this is their journey. Honey, it's not about us at this time. Their passing is their journey. It's their business. Our job is to be supportive and nurturing and let them do it their way. I had a good friend. His dad was passing. He was in, I want to say a hospital or a nursing home. I think he was in a hospital. And my friend had been there all night, most of the morning with him. And he had to run an errand, and he told his dad, "Don't go anywhere till I get back." And his dad nodded. He hadn't been gone 5 minutes, his dad passed. The reason? Sometimes people want to go privately. They don't want a crowd around them. It's not about they don't want you there. It's their journey. Let them do it their way. I always think it's lovely when families at someone's bedside and they tell them it's okay to go. It's okay. Sometimes they need to hear that. They need to know, okay, I can really let go and I can cross over now. I can go. Sometimes they will be waiting for somebody to get there so they can let them say goodbye one last time. Let them go. Don't tell them keep fighting. If they're done with the fight, let them go, honey. It's going to hurt you. We're going to lose them eventually. Postponing it isn't going to do any good. If they're in the hospital, if they're on hospice, if the doctors have come in and said there's nothing more we can do, hold their hand, pray with them, tell them you love them, share happy memories, sing, but let them go. Let them go. It is heartbreaking. I was there when my dad passed. He was in a nursing home, and I was right there. And family had been in and out with him all morning. It was my turn to go in, and I was sitting there, and he asked for his shoes. I knew what was going on. I mean, we all knew it was time. And I said, "You going somewhere?" And he smiled. I knew what that meant. I put his little house shoes on him. He said, "Bryn, why don't you go get the nurse now?" I knew what that meant. I stepped out, I got the nurse. I said, it's time. They went back in. I waited outside the door. They called me in. There were 2 nurses, my dad and myself. They had moved him into a wheelchair. Don't know why. It's not my job to question what they're doing, but he was sitting up, probably so he could breathe a little bit easier for his final breaths. And I put my arms around him and I said, it's okay, Daddy, let go. Go with Mom, because my mom had died many years before. And I prayed. I prayed for him. He took one big deep breath, and that was it. And they allowed me to declare time of death, which was very kind of them. But it wasn't about me. It killed me. I had already lost my mom. I'm losing my dad. That was hard, but it wasn't about me. It was about him. He had been sick a long time, and now he's not sick. He was at peace. He was with my mom. He was with his parents, his siblings. He was at peace. So as hard as it is, honey, we can't make it about us. It's about them. Carry out their wishes. You may not like it. You may not agree with it. Honor them. This is the last thing you can do to honor them. Carry out their wishes. I mean, if it's something weird and illegal, that's a different story. But if they want to be buried in certain clothes that you didn't care for, it's their last wish. Honor it. If they wanted a certain song, that's fine. Honor that. It's their last hurrah. It's not about you. I can't tell you the grief when you lose a child. Those that have lost, you understand. It's been 45 years. I still feel it. My son, who is wonderful, is 43. And this was a year before he was born. But I still feel her death. I will always feel my daughter's death. I will always feel my parents' death. It hurts. It's going to hurt. It will get easier, a little easier every day. And I want you to grieve your way. You know, they talk about the 5 stages of grief. Okay, maybe for you it's 5, maybe for somebody else it's 2. You don't have to go through all 5 stages. What works for you works for you. If you need help going through the grief process, I am here for you, absolutely. I also recommend grief support systems through hospice, American Cancer Center, your local hospital, some churches. Absolutely, positively. When my mom passed, she and Daddy had been married 50 years. Now, their marriage was idyllic. I mean, it was wonderful. They were so in love and so attentive and tender with each other. And 50 years is a long time. And when he lost her, it broke his heart. And we encouraged him to, enter a grief support through hospice. And he did, reluctantly. He kind of rolled his eyes and said, I'll be fine. I said, yeah, you will, once you attend a meeting. And one of my best friends was a social worker with hospice, and she saw that he made it there. The first meeting, he was like, okay, I went, are you happy? I said, well, go again. That helped. The next one helped more. I like to think it saved him for many, many years. It was a very hard road for him. The important thing that he learned is he was not alone, that everyone grieves in their own way, and the importance of expressing what you're feeling. Now, the people that I work with, when I work with a family or people, with grief counseling, you're going to feel 100 million different things, and sometimes all at the same time. You may go from anger to sorrow to joy and laughter within 5 minutes, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. Do not judge yourself, and don't let anybody else judge you either. As long as you are grieving, constructively. That means as long as you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting anything or anyone else, we're good to go. If you start drinking, if you start using excessive anti-anxiety medications, pain meds, you start gambling, we got a problem. If you start burning their clothes, furniture, mementos, we got a problem. Don't do that. Let's try to address it openly and honestly. And you can do this privately. It's fine. You don't have to go in a group. You don't have to sit down with family every Sunday and do this. I suggest journaling. My dad was not a writer. Part of, the grief counseling was journaling. Okay, fine. It did wonders for him because it's his private thoughts. Now, if for whatever reason you can't write, whether you have arthritis, maybe, honestly, there are people that are illiterate and they can't read and write, and that's fine too. We're not here to judge anybody, just here to help. What I suggest is get a photo of your loved one and sit down and have a conversation with that photo. Tell them whatever is on your heart right then. And you can do this as many times as you want. One conversation may be, I remember when we were so happy, and the next conversation the next day or 2 hours later, maybe, how could you leave me? How could you do this? How could you gamble away all our money? How could you take your own life? Whatever it is, it's okay. The important thing is for you to safely vent what you're feeling. Use poetry, a song, journaling, just talking out loud to yourself, to your cat, to your dog, to your parakeet. I want you to express what you're feeling. It's okay. That's so important. I can't share that enough. It is going to hurt. The losses that I have endured, I still feel them. It's easier now. When I lost my mom, that was hard. She was my best friend. I took it hard. But I'm okay now. I'm okay. It took a good probably 6 months or a year. When I lost Dad, we knew it was coming. I mean, my mom had cancer. We knew it was coming too. But it's still, that was my best friend. Losing Dad was hard. Loss is hard. It hurts. And we need to grieve our loss. And this goes beyond grieving the loss of a person. If you are divorcing, I want you to grieve the loss of the relationship. It's okay. And if somebody doesn't understand it, that's their problem, not yours. You have to do what's right for you. Grieve the loss. They may say, well, good riddance. Well, that's their opinion. Grieve the loss. Take a day or a weekend and grieve the loss. It's okay. Ending a relationship can hurt. Even if you've only seen somebody a few months, it can still hurt. Grieve the loss. Losing a pet, grieve the loss. I have lost many pets over the years. I lost my last 2 cats a few years ago, and I won't have another pet. That hurt too bad. I lost Emmy in November and Milo 2 years later, and no more. I can't do that again. I love animals. Through my healing practice, I do Reiki and guided imagery and all of that. I have a large animal clientele. I love going and treating animals, and I will always do so, but I can't handle having another pet. I can't handle the loss. That's okay. That's my decision. You have to do what's right for you. Okay? Now, some words of wisdom. You've lost a loved one, a spouse, a significant other. Everybody knows, they say, don't make any big decisions for 6 months. That's kind of smart. I mean, sometimes your hand may be forced to make some big decisions for financial reasons. That's a little different. But I want you to find someone in your life, a minister, one of your kids, a sibling that you can trust, that you know will always have your back and be honest and has your best interest at heart. I want them to be your safety net and your sounding board so that you don't make any decisions based on just emotion that you're going to regret later. So have a backup. Have that person who always has your back. Also, now this is a morbid thing to say, but I'm just going to be honest. There are people that will take advantage of widows and widowers. They will find out you've lost a spouse, and the next thing you know, oh, can I clean your house? Oh, can I do cooking for you? Can I be your handyman or whatever? Be careful. Run this past your backup person, because there are people that they know you're grieving, they know you're vulnerable, and they're trying to get a foot in the door. The next thing may be, oh, well, we don't have a place to live. Can we stay with you? You have a spare room. Your house is so big, we don't have any place to go. Red flag. Big red flag. Oh, you have 2 cars. We don't have a car. My car's broken. Can I use your car? Big red flag. Can I use your credit card? It's just one time. It's just for school lunches. Big red flag. You find, if somebody's cleaning your home and you find jewelry missing, money missing, documents missing, anything, big red flag. If you find things missing, credit cards, checkbooks, whatever it may be, contact the police. I don't care if it hurts their feelings. You're vulnerable right now. Nobody is going to think you're stupid or you're weak or you're being silly. You're being practical and you're being safe. If they don't like it, have them call me. But I want you to have somebody safe that you can turn to who will have your back and help you through this time. It's a horrible time. And you're thinking on an emotional level. You're trying to be practical. Your heart's breaking. You're missing them. It's hard. And then we come upon holidays and anniversaries and birthdays. Oh my word, those can be tough. If it helps you to go ahead and set a place for them at Thanksgiving, do it. If it helps you to wrap a gift or hang an ornament on your Christmas tree for them, do it. On the anniversary, if you fix a special dinner and it's just you and an empty plate, it's okay, do it. It's about you working through this. Lastly, like I said, I am a psychic medium. Whether you like to believe it or not, roll your eyes, I don't care. This is some things you need to know. People say all the time, well, they died and they didn't know Christ. They died and they were atheists. They didn't know God. Well, trust me, when you cross over, you get to meet everybody. So if they didn't meet him now, they meet him on the other side. They're covered. They're good. Don't worry about it. I promise you that. No one dies alone. Every person on this earth has angels around them. God is around them. Now, they may turn a blind eye. They may not want to hear it. I don't care. That's their choice. But they're with them. No one dies alone. No one. The most horrible, rotten, evil person on the face of this earth will have angels around them when they die. They may turn a blind eye. That's their choice. But nobody is going to die alone, I promise. When somebody crosses, and nurses, doctors, you will know this because we've all witnessed it. You may be in a room with someone and they're passing. You may see some sparkles in the room. You may smell roses. You may smell someone's fragrance. That's probably a loved one coming to meet them and take them across. And that's okay. That's beautiful. I know when my dad died, my mom came and got him. And that's wonderful. That is wonderful. I am thrilled with that. And I am sure when my daughter died, my grandparents were there for her. I have no doubt. It's okay. Nobody dies alone. On the other side, you cross over, and it's like the biggest welcome home party, because honest to God, our presence on earth is like the world's worst vacation. The never-ending vacation. You can't wait. Once you cross over, it's like, I cannot believe I endured that, because then you're home. You honestly go home. You are surrounded with loved ones, classmates, pets are there to greet you. And every day is wonderful. Yes, they can come back and visit and pop in and check on you. I promise you, your loved one will be there for your birthday. They will be there for graduations, for weddings, for Christmas. They're going to be there. They're going to pop in. There's going to be times when you're struggling. You feel that hand on your shoulder. You smell their cologne, their cigar, their pipe. They're with you. You may dream about them. You may hear their voice. You're not hallucinating. It's real. Trust me. People contact me all the time for closure. And that's okay. I do that too. That's fine. You know, death is part of life. We are taught to fear it. And there's nothing to fear. It's just another phase of life. So please, let people go on their own terms. They're going to be okay. They're not going to die alone. They will hear you. Even if you're on an airplane and you can't get there in time, they will hear what you're saying in your head. They see your tears, because when they cross, then they're worried about you. They're comforting you. Once a mama, always a mama. Once a daddy, always a daddy. Your husband or wife or whomever, if they loved you in life, they're going to love you in death. Souls are energy. Energy lives on forever. Love is energy. It knows no bounds. It doesn't know distance. It doesn't know time. It doesn't know death. The sun is energy. It is a bazillion miles away from us, but we feel the warmth and the rays of the sun every day. It's energy. The soul is energy. It knows no bounds. If you need me, I am here for you. Grieve your way in your time. I am here to help you if you need it. I am sending you so much love. I want you to hang in there and know I'm here. Thanks.